The CSI escape room is one of our most popular games. The reason being is that there are so many different ways to obtain the evidence needed in order to solve it. So there is no right or wrong way to go about this, and teams usually enjoy the fact that there are multiple ways to come across the final answers. I'm going to give you a quick little introduction of the game and how to introduce it to your players, and then I will walk you through the more popular ways of your guests achieving the answers. We'll post a separate video with tips and hints that you can give your players should they need it. Prior to your participants entering the escape room, they should watch the introduction video, which is another link that we had sent you. That will give them the overview that they need to play this game. The short story is that there was a shooting and multiple murders that took place, and the family wants to figure out who did this before the police, so they have hired your group. You only have a certain amount of time that the police station will be free of officers for your group to sort through the evidence. Now you can make this game any time length that you would like. The most popular is a 15-minute game, which gives this a 8 out of 10 difficulty level. You can make it a 30-minute game, which gives it about a 4 or 5 difficulty level. Or you can make it a 45-minute game, which gives it a 1 or 2 out of 10 difficulty level. Completely up to you. We will have our timer set on the website for 60 minutes, so no matter what you use, the game will not time out on your participants. But you will need to keep a timer going for the games. So you tell your players that their ultimate goal is to look on the suspect list and determine which of these two suspects are, in fact, the two shooters. What they have to start doing is eliminating these suspects based on the evidence they find on the table here, and also what they find on this website. There are 4 areas of the website that are password protected. Only 3 of them are in play in this game: crime lab, website analysis, and surveillance footage. Officer email is not used on the website version here, but there are emails that are printed out that will give the participants the information that they need. As players start going through, and I'll start giving you more of the common ways of people solving it, what they will start doing is they'll start looking through all the pieces of paper on the desk here. So in the internal emails, we have one here which is very important. It says, first carry-on jacket had a green jacket that was traced to Eduardo Lorenzo. The second had a tan jacket, and that belonged to Anthony Muscudo. So now we know these two suspects, what jackets and what colors that they wore. When we look at the initial police reports, as well as the eyewitness reports, we will be able to tell that the shooters were wearing black jackets. So that immediately just eliminated 2 suspects here without us even really going far into the game. The initial police report here also gives you the date and time that the shootings took place. Our newspaper report here talks about a body that was found in a dumpster, Frankie Four Fingers, and it gives the date and time that he was found, which was before the murders took place. So Frankie is now eliminated as a suspect as well. Our eyewitness reports, there are 3 of them. And one says page 1, one says page 2, and one has some random page numbers here. The one with the random page numbers talks about that the suspects knew their way around and they were not captured on the, quote, surveillance footage. That is your hint for the players here that your surveillance footage password is 5121. So players will come over to the laptop, click on the surveillance footage, type in their password 5121, press submit, and it will open up a video. This video is from LaGuardia Airport at 10:04 p.m. and it shows Samuel and Nicholas at that airport. Now, LaGuardia is at least a 2-hour flight from Buffalo, so therefore there's no way that those two could be suspects in this murder. Players will then find the cufflink in the black jacket. The cufflink will have a letter S on it. There's also other information that the players will find that will say that cufflinks can be first name, last name, both first name, or both last name. So now we know that a black jacket, which was one of the suspects, will have the letter S in it. So that gives us down now to Samuel Valente, Sal Valentino, or Vinny Santarelli. So we know one of those three has to be our suspect. All right, as we're looking through our crime scene photos, there is writing on the back, and it's telling you what people are wearing. For example here, Jack Alessi is a black coat and black pants, so that definitely could be one of our suspects. We also have something here that says website A and the word security. That would be the password for our website analysis, which is security. In here gives us a casino security guard timesheet. Employee names gives an error code 501, which is designed because there's nothing in there that we need. And the timesheets gives you a list of all different employees and their badge numbers. And we notice here that one employee did not show up. Whether or not this is important is hard to tell right now, but I will tell you for the sake of making the game easier that there's really not much information in that section that is going to be used. We are going to find a lot of information that we need in our crime lab. The way we find our crime lab password is inside our little notepad. We have crime lab password with a torn piece of paper. What players have to do is sort through all of the torn pieces of paper that we provide them until they find the one that is the exact match for the torn paper. So the crime lab password is 6749. 6749. In here we have a blood stain analysis, which has some very important information here. The blood analysis revealed the DNA of multiple victims. Our DNA talks about a trace of transmission fluid. That's a key element in solving this, is knowing that the suspect had transmission fluid. Our suspect profiles have a list of all the occupations on here. The only occupation that would possibly have transmission fluid on their foot would be Vinny Santarelli, which is a mechanic. And again, he's got the S for the cufflink. So based on that, we now just figured out that Vinny Santarelli is one of our suspects. We also have a gun fingerprint analysis here, and they actually show you the fingerprint that was found at the scene. And looking through our criminal history reports, you can actually match up all the fingerprints, and our fingerprint for Jack Alessi is a perfect match to the fingerprint on that screen there. And that gives us the fact that Jack Alessi is our second suspect. Now, there's some other information here that may be helpful to know how to eliminate some of the other suspects. So I did mention that the surveillance footage from the airport is 2 hours away at the time of the murders, so Sam and Nicholas could not be the suspects. Frankie Four Fingers, I mentioned, based on the newspaper, was dead at 10 a.m. that morning, so he could not have done it. The arrest report shows, here, shows that Michael Rizzio was arrested at 9:35. So he was arrested before the murders took place. We have Anthony wearing a tan jacket and Edward wearing a green jacket. Here are some items that will help determine that Jack and Vinny are the suspects. Vinny is a possible match for the cufflinks. Vinny is a mechanic, and transmission fluid was found at the crime scene. Jack is a perfect match for the fingerprints found on the gun. Jack was wearing a black coat and black pants. And based on photos, Jack was found deceased at the scene. And the intro video mentions that one shooter was deceased and one shooter was alive. Those are the main items that players will go through. Again, this was a very quick version here, so at least you could see and understand them. And what we will do next in our next video is we will give you some hints and tips that you could provide to your players should they get stuck on any of these.